So let's talk about what really happened. This video is brought to you by the Officer Tatum store. The Officer Tatum store. Get the merch link in the description section. Also, get my book, Beaten Black and Blue. Beaten Black and Blue. Being a black cop in America under siege. It's available for pre-order. Link is in the description section. Get it now. It's already the best seller on Amazon, and I'm hoping to keep it as the best seller on Amazon so we can sell it across stores across the planet. Also, you can get the signed copy on my official website. That link is in the description section. Y'all know what to do. Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, I got to talk about this incident that occurred. The young lady, first of all, shout out to Tatum Report. Shout out to everybody that has donated and supported Tatum Report, man. You've been an incredible blessing. We got all of these writers now that are doing a tremendous job. My boy Darius Ricks that wrote this particular article I'm very proud of this young man. I'm very proud of him. I'm proud of all my writers, but every time I do an article, I'm gonna give my writers a shout out. Darius, shout out to my boy Darius, man. What a great young man. And I love to see the brothers on here with good commentary. So let's talk about this young lady, Mikayla Miller. Now, everybody knows that if you know anything about the news, they putting it out here that this young girl, obviously she was somewhat suspiciously to us, the police department don't think it was so suspicious, obviously because they were there, they saw what happened, and they've done a report, and I'm gonna tell you what they know. However, people are saying that this young girl was a product of lynching by white kids in the white community, and this is, racism, and, we need to stop doing this. Because you jump to racism, and we are not addressing the underlying problem, underlying theme that's surrounding mental health in young children in our country. Same thing with Mikayla Bryant. Mikayla Bryant tried to stab that other girl. Why did she try to get rid of the police? Stop talking about the police. Why would a 16-year-old be in a position to do that? Why did this young girl, who's also 16 years old, why would she be in a position where this was a potential suicide? Now, let's talk about what people are saying. Let's talk about what we do know now and my opinion on it. So first of all, people are trying to say that this young lady was in a fight with a bunch of white kids and they had beat her up and lynched her, right? This is what they said. And the police officers are trying to cover it up because they don't want it to get out that a black girl in 2021 was lynched. Okay, all of that has been disproven in this article. Now, however, the truth is that the young lady was in an altercation with 5 young, high schoolers the day before. Right here, it says, according to a Facebook post by Miller's mother, she wrote that her daughter had previously been in an altercation with a group of 5 teenagers previously that day. Now, witnesses to that fight said that it was a group of mixed race children, meaning that it wasn't just white kids. She had gotten into an altercation with white and black kids, male and female, right? So there's no video footage of her altercation, so we don't know if she was winning or not. She left with a bloody lip. That's what the authorities say, and that's what her parents had reported, that she had left with a bloody lip. One of the girls in the incident, or one of the teenagers that she got into altercation with, according to witness statements, that it was her girlfriend. So she's a LGBTQ kid, and this was one of the concerns that the police had, is that they didn't want to put her business out there. So he told her mom, lay low, don't go to the press, because then you're going to put her business out there. But mom don't care. At least she don't appear to care. So let me read this. It says, in the timeline of the events Ryan provided, Miller was in a common area, and that's the young girl who had lost her life, coming out of her apartment complex between 5:17 p.m. and 6:41 p.m. on Saturday, April the 17th. The day before was the fight. She was initially accompanied by 2 friends who left before the encounter between Miller and the mixed race group consisted of 2 males and 2 females. So it was actually 4. Another teen, a female, remained in the car, which would make the 5th person. When the group arrived, in the recent interview with GBH, she said that she did not have enough evidence to press charges against the teenagers involved in the fight to clarify that they were white and Latino. So according to the investigators, that they don't know who started the fight and who was the wrong party and who wasn't. Let's continue. One of the males and one of the females were each involved in the physical altercation with Miller, Ryan said, and the teen later told police she had been shoved and punched in the face. Officers found Miller with a bloody lip. Okay, she's in a fight. She got punched in the face. You know, who knows who was fighting who? Did she get jumped? Did she not? There's no evidence that she was somehow victimized and beat down. She just had a bloody lip. Normally when you fight, you're going to get a bloody lip whether you win or whether you lose. After the fight, the teenagers remained in the common area for roughly around 20 minutes, Ryan said, and Miller's mom called the police around 7:20 p.m. At around 9:30 p.m., Stronthers went to bed, and I'm assuming that's mom, believing Miller was still in the house. Okay? The mother activist groups are questioning whether or not Miller had been lured outside of her house. According to an account from the county prosecutor's preliminary investigations found that all 5 of the teenagers involved were elsewhere later in the evening. So I take that back. This all happened it appears that this happened in the same day. This was just later that day, okay? It says investigators used cell phone data and witness accounts to confirm that the teens' whereabouts, the prosecution said. So the people that were involved in this altercation with her, the investigators proved through cell phone data and other investigatory processes that they were nowhere near her when she had left the house around 9:30, which was when her mom last saw her secured at the house, right? It says authorities say information gathered from a health app on Miller's phone, which is the young girl's phone, tracked movement from 9 to 10 p.m. So from 9 to 10 p.m., she's moving. It said it showed that she traveled about 1,300 steps, which matched the distance between her house and the area where she was found. So let's put this together. She got into an altercation with some kids, one of which was probably somebody she was dating. Nobody knows who was at fault. There's no information to prosecute anybody because she could have started the fight, or she and other people could have been involved in a fight fighting other people. Nobody really knows who's at fault here. However, the kids at the time she was secured in the house versus the time that she had left, the movement that's found on her phone indicates that she had moved alone. There was no text message. There was no information to indicate that she met anybody there, that she was lured there. She ended up there, and she was found by a jogger later on. Now, if you are not a SJW and you want to be reasonable, then you will say, okay, let's pipe down. First of all, she didn't get jumped by a bunch of white kids. Second of all, later on that day is when she left the house, unbeknownst to her mom, tracked by her phone 1,300 steps. That means she went straight from her house to this particular tree. And then while she was at the tree, God knows what she did. Maybe somebody met her there and did something to her. There's no information that suggests that. Okay. Now, however, her mother claims the police immediately dismissed her. She claimed that the police immediately dismissed her daughter's death as a suicide and have been hostile and uncooperative since then. She has claimed that an officer suggested that not to go to the media because her daughter's sexuality will be revealed, and said that the police have declined to give her incident. Okay, obviously the police are saying that that's bull crap. That's a complete lie. And information has also indicated that her counselor, and it says this right here, that Mikayla Miller's guidance counselor ignored warnings about teens' mental health and drug abuse. So, in messages that they found on her phone, which you can read here, messages that they found on her phone indicated that she had been using drugs. But mama don't want to say that. Mama don't want to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to say it. Nobody wants to bring that out. She's dealing with sexuality issues, right? Because everybody want to act like being homosexual is somehow normal, and that everybody is just living this life that they enjoyed and everything is fine. Some people struggle with it, all right? This little girl probably had an identity crisis and she was struggling with it. Why do you think she's abusing drugs and had mental health problems? Okay? I don't think it's a shocker. There's a correlation. People don't want to believe in a correlation, but there's a correlation. The young girl had some sexuality issues, which probably was a part of mental illness that she had, mental health concerns that she had, and she had suicidal ideations in the past, and she was abusing drugs. When you put all those things together, it wouldn't be unlikely for her to go down the path of wanting to commit suicide. Many people that want to commit suicide or actually successfully commit suicide are people that have suicidal ideations or have attempted in the past. She falls in that high-risk category. She falls in the high-risk category of having a sexuality confusion, which caused people to get bullied. People still get bullied in school. Let's keep it real. Young girl that's tomboyish, that look more masculine, people pick on them. When I was in school, they pick on the girls that look like that. They call them tomboy. They're not feminine enough. Dudes don't want to date them. They have this identity crisis. And then if they're messing around with young girls at the age of 16, they're definitely confused about who they are. And that leads kids to going down a path of suicidal ideations. And we can look at a few pictures of the young girl, man. So, and all these people are just jumping to conclusions, and you can click through. You can see all these people jumping to conclusions about she was lynched. This is a modern day lynching. It's not true. It didn't occur that way. And let's stop lying about it. And at the end of the day, what can we learn? The facts and circumstances as it stands does not appear that there is some kind of foul play. If there's somebody conducted foul play, a police officer is not going to go up and say, "Oh, she's black. Let's act like put the blinders on. She's black." Even though she's a kid, even though we have kids, some police officers have 16-year-old kids. They deal with child sex crimes and abuse all the time. Police, more than anybody else, hate these people who are abusing other people, who are committing hate crimes. Hate them with a passion. Would love the police brutality of them. However, they're not putting the blinders on because it's a black girl. I guarantee you they want to be heroes and say if there was obvious signs of, some real problems here. However, there was no signs of that. So let's stop jumping in that conclusion. Let's stop going down the rabbit hole. Let's start talking about mental health amongst our young people. Why is this 16-year-old girl struggling with mental health? Why is Mikayla Bryant trying to stab somebody at a group home? These are mental health issues that occur in the black community that nobody wants to address. My uncle, great uncle, who's doing life in prison, robbed a convenience store at gunpoint and did all kinds of nefarious things. There is rumors that he could possibly have killed people, that people know he's killed people. Now, of course, that was 30-some years ago, so who knows? But he supposedly had killed people. That's the rumor that goes around the circles that I know. And growing up, my mama told me stories about how he has a mental illness. He was crazy. He was crazy. That's why he did the things he did, because he's crazy. He needed some mental health assistance, but he never got it. He acts out. Now he's doing life in prison. Why can't we talk about these things? A lot of young people in the black community get molested, raped. She could have been molested. Of course, they're not going to talk about that. A lot of these young people that deal with sexuality issues, they've been molested, raped, and stuff when they were kids. And they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. Almost every woman that I know on a certain part of my family had been taken advantage of by men. My grandmother had a baby, had my mama at 12. My mama tell me stories about family members touching her and stuff that they shouldn't have. And then all of my aunties, my great aunts, were marrying and with men who were like way older than them. So what do you think was happening then? That's all I'm saying. I'm going to keep it real. This stuff goes on a lot in poor black families. Now, I didn't grow up white, so I can't tell you what white people do. I know what goes on in these black families. Kids are getting molested, they're getting raped, they're getting taken advantage of. That's how they end up like this. You're not born like this. This is nurtured. Things happen to young people and they push it off as, "Oh, you were born that way. This is just how you." No, let's talk about what happened to her. Let's talk about what happened to her. Why is she dealing with suicidal ideations? Why is she abusing drugs? She's only 16. What has happened in this girl's life to make her go down that path? Where's her daddy at? I see mama talking. I tell y'all this all the time. I see mama talking. Daddy may be involved. They just haven't interviewed him. I don't know. But a lot of these times, mama talking on the interviews, mama everywhere. Where's her daddy at? Maybe her daddy touched her or something. I don't know. But that's the thing that I don't understand about our societies, that we won't talk about the real issues. We talk about the boogeyman. 5 white kids. You were wrong. You should go to jail. This lady is wrong. She should be in jail for this. I ain't say go to jail, but you get what I'm saying. She should be held accountable for this. Fact check need to take this down. It wasn't 5 white key people. It wasn't 5 white people. And they say she was tied to a tree. Were you on the scene? Were you on the scene? Are you hearing reports from the police department? And it's these same white people that and then you know she dumb. His and her in her, she and her in her comment section. You know these people are dumb. These are the dumb people that they're the reason why young ladies like this are struggling, and they won't help them. They push him into it. They force him into it. He, hers, and she, and she's. They push him into it. Oh, look, 5 white kids that bleed her. How suspicious. No, talk about her mental health issues. Talk about the young girl's mental health issues. And maybe you'll save another 16-year-old. You keep talking about the fake boogie white man, you ain't going to save these kids. Ma'Khia Bryant, the boogie white man cop, it wasn't his fault. He was justified. Let's talk about her mental health. This young lady may have committed suicide. Now, y'all don't want to talk about the LGBTQ suicide rate. Huh? Do you want to talk about it? I wrote about this in my book, not necessarily LGBTQ, but fatherless homes. The suicide rate of fatherless homes. Young people that commit suicide, I think the number was like 60% of young people that commit suicide are in homes without a father. That's okay. Don't believe Brandon Tatum. Brandon Tatum, he don't love black people. He don't always talk about. Listen, the reason I talk about black people because I have the most experience with black people. If I grew up around all white people and I was talking about black people, y'all would be telling me, well, you don't know, you can't talk because you never been around black people. I grew up around black people my whole life. Now, so I'm talking about things that I know. I'm talking about a group of people that I've been exposed to. My whole family is black. Every time I go home, every time I see my family, I'm around black folks. So I can't tell you what white kids go through. I wasn't born white. I wasn't raised white. I didn't live in a white. I didn't go to a white high school. None of my friends were really white when I was growing up. Even when we went to a biracial school or a multiracial school, all of my friends were still black. Nick, Eric, all of them were all black. Brandon, we used to hoop at Brandon house. Ain't no white people, no white boys, none but black kids. Even when I was on a football team in college, it was all the black people hung out together. All the black athletes hung out together, and the white athletes were together. And sometimes we mixed. Anyway, y'all know what's going on. So now you can be somewhat informed. You can tell your friends, check it out. Look at the article. Read the article on the Tatum Report. If you can't watch 20 minutes of this video of me explaining it, go read the article for yourself on the Tatum Report, and you will be informed. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you buy my book, Beating Black and Blue, Being a Black Police Officer in America Under Siege. It's available for pre-order. Just so you know, you're not getting the book. It's pre-order. We got to do the pre-order, and then once it launch, it's gonna be the biggest book in history. But we would love your support even now. Love you guys. I appreciate you. See you on the next one. I'm out.